Start this second lab, and this is assigning variables in Python. So we'll go ahead and start it up, and a variable is some form of data that we don't necessarily need to know what the value is, but we do need to know the rules that apply to that data. So what that means, at some point, we're going to, in this assignment, save some value as my current age. We've also saved some piece of data as current year. Now in Python, there's initially 3 different data types that we're going to deal with. An integer, that's a whole number, not fractional. A float, which in essence means floating decimal point, that's a fractional number, such as my grade on this exam was 94.6. We need to know how we're going to use whatever the value is to know how to save it or how to store it. The last one that we'll use quite frequently is called a string. It's a string of characters. I can't mathematically manipulate a string. It'd be like trying to say the word 12 times the word 2. That's not math. The number 12 times the number 2, or the integer 12 times the integer 2, will yield the result of an integer. Anytime I do a mathematical calculation that involves a decimal point, I want to be sure that my result will also be in the form of a float or a decimal fractional number. So for this, they provided us some comments here. Now, a single line comment starts out with the pound symbol or the hashtag, and then we've got some information. Is there input? Is there output? What does this program do? Always include comments. Your name, when you created it, what you created it for. Doesn't take a whole lot of time to actually do that, but it helps immensely when things are all done. Now they'll give us, in each of these assignments, some area to do our work. So right here it says, create your variables here. They provided us 3 lines of output. Let's try not to do anything with those 3 lines of output. So I'm going to put my insertion point after the word here. I'm going to hit enter a couple of times, and it assumes I want more comments, but I don't. So they say assign an integer variable named my current age with your current age in years. Now, I like to copy these things so that I don't mess up the spelling. I'm going to do something a little different than what the developer or the author has us do. And I prefer for us at this stage of the game to initialize these variables to a value of 0. Just get in the habit of doing that. Initialize them to 0. Okay? Now, the reason I do that is because I don't always know where the value is coming from. I could ask the user to input that value. And as we move forward, that will be the case. So I've declared the variable. Here's the name. By doing that, it automatically reserves some space in memory, a little storage space for whatever value I need to store in my current age. And that's the name that I'm giving that little storage space that I've created. Currently, I've initialized it to a value of 0. So I reserved a space, gave it a name, and I put something in it. I put 0 in it. Now, The directions say, assign an integer variable named my current age with your current age in years. My current age, your current age in years. I'll go ahead and put in 21. Assign an integer variable named current year with the value of current year. Current year is 2018. Use 4 digits for the year. We've done that. Execute the program and ensure the output is correct. So each one of the variables that exist within this code, you don't see anything other than those 3, have been declared and initialized. This one to 0, we redefine what the value is a little bit later, but we initialized it at 0. Now, each one of these are numeric values. There's some assumptions that are taking place. It sees a number and we just assume that's a number. It's going to be treated like a number. We have to be very explicit about what we do. Now, in this next line, in line 10, my new age is being assigned a new value, and the new value, instead of 0, will be my current age, or whatever's being stored in the variable location, my current age, 21, plus mathematical operation, in parentheses, 2050 minus current year, or what's being stored in the value at current year, or in the location at current year. Now it takes and stores the result of that calculation in my new age. On line 11, we have a print statement, and we've dealt with that before. String literal constant. You remember that. Right here, we've got this plus symbol. We've got a plus symbol here. Plus number is being stored there. Number is being stored here. It's a mathematical calculation. My current age is. That's not a number. That's a string literal constant, if you remember from the first exercise. So I can't add a word. Here's a word. Here's my current age. Clearly that's a number. A number plus a number equals a number. So this is a number. What we've done is, much like calling the print function, we called the string function. And when we call the string function, we passed it what's being stored in my current age. The string function then took that value, which is 21, and it converted it from a number to a string. And we then concatenated, that's what this plus symbol represents here, concatenated it on the back end of this string to become one string. Same thing happens here. I will be is a string literal constant concatenated with my new age turned into a string, concatenated with another string literal constant. So when we run this code, my current age is 21. I will be 53 in 2050. Let's test this to see where we stand. Your program is done being tested. 5 out of 5 tests passed. Click here for details. Now we can go ahead and click and go see what took place. We see 5 tests. Sets current year to a number. I put a number in there. Current age to a number. I did that as well. Sets my new age as a number. Now, I did that here, but we also did it here in this mathematical calculation. It checked the outputs to see if they were in fact the way they were supposed to be. We did not have to modify the outputs. So this block of code, we didn't change it or modify it. Okay. So we ran it. It did what it's supposed to do. We tested it. We got 5 out of 5. The last step is to grade it, review to see how we did, and it just checks to confirm that we are at 100%. And we submit it, and we're good. That passed that grade over just like last time, and it says grading is complete. You received 100%.